Hello all, this is Big Benedict. Welcome back to my Ninja Gaiden Master Ninja difficulty video guide and walkthrough. First thing you want to do is hit that incendiary tank, take care of those two guys. And then you're going to have guys setting up shop. That's what I like to call this. The further you move in any direction here, say for instance you go towards those enemies where I'm shooting at them right now. If you go, I don't really know where the dividing line is here, but if you just stay in the bottom quadrant, then you're only going to have to deal with the guys in front of you. Because if you do press forward too far, then you're going to have guys setting up shop right behind you. So you can completely dictate and control how this first part works. And the bottom line, the thing that's going to save you, that I've mentioned time and time again on all my guides: jump, stun in the air on landing ET. And that's your best ticket. And with any stragglers, just go over to them and Azuna drop, fly swallow Azuna drop, get your iframes with a dash, evade, and get your iframes with the OTs. When I first played this game, it was a really tough chapter. And I was just at my wit's end trying to figure out how to do it because I had only a Sigma 2 perspective, and it was this chapter, specifically this part, where my association with Rhyme began, and my figurative acquaintance with him began, and I watched all of his Ninja Gaiden 2 videos because he was a guy who got down to business on every fight, and that's just how I like to narrate guides. Get down to business, no messing around for the most part. When there's lulls, I like to shoot the shit, as it were, and just do my own thing. Rant, maybe. And I think he was even guilty of that at some points. But Rhyme, that is, the godfather of Ninja Gaiden that I mentioned in the beginning of this guide in Chapter 1. But anyway, I think, even though he's a more skilled player than I think my guides are more thorough than his. I think my campaign number 2 is the most thorough guide available on YouTube. To be brutally honest about the content that's on YouTube for this game, there's a lot, but I just don't think anyone's covered everything in such a concise manner. But that's not that is to give me some credit for doing a good job, because it's tough. It takes a lot of stamina to do all these guides, but I love this game so much that it's not a chore to do it at all. It's a great pleasure. And this level I love. We are going to be spending quite a lot of money on this stage, but in the next chapter we'll get all our money back. It's a big money-making stage. So on this corner of the street, did you notice? I'm sorry I spoke over it because I had to say some prefatory materials. So on this street, though, the first thing you want to do is advance towards where the tripwire point was. You'll have to rewind the footage to where I immediately tried to take out the incendiary canister, but I missed. So for me, this is really fun. So the bottom line, though, is you're going to get hit a lot. So just roll with the punches, so to speak, and just realize that it doesn't have to be utter perfection. Just perform well and consistently, and understand what I'm talking about when I say, jump, stun in the air on landing ET, and get your iframes. Once you know about iframes in this game, you can really succeed well. It's not in a cheating manner either. It's just something about the game that's deeper than on the surface of what the game actually is. Some of the meta game, as it were. But anyway, now I'm going to switch to my Tonfa because it's at level 3, but hell, even at level 1 it would tear these mech soldiers up who are going to be advancing over here. And you're going to get a lot of slowdown over here. The game can possibly slow down to a crawl for you. But here's my predicament. I missed that right there, so I automatically threw the void. because they start you out with a couple of nimbos. And then this guy is going to charge, and I took some mandatory damage there because I was stubborn and I didn't think it would take too much off. But right now what I'm doing is I'm running back here to prepare a charge, and also so I can get closer to that box with the arrows so I could possibly take out some of the guys who are stuck. I'm getting a lot of slowdown right now. And this guy, what they do is they jump all the way up off screen. Once they jump off screen, once you see their claws go off the screen, release your charge, because what they're going to do is they're going to jump right on top of you, killing you instantly. So I may have unspawned some of these guys against my wishes here, because I only have 4 arrows, and I head back at some point, and you're going to see a crossfade, and I'm trying to shoot the guys at the distance. There's one guy with a rocket launcher, and I think a couple of the mech soldiers down the way, and they can be taken out with arrows, but you see here I only have one left. So did I take that guy out? No, I don't know. I may have unspawned him too, you guys. So there's the crossfade. And what happened during that brief 30 seconds or whatever that I edited out is I headed back and I refilled my arrows because I was intent on taking all these things out over here. But when I got back, only even this guy, did he unspawn? I think I might I can't remember. We'll have to see what happens. But definitely, if I didn't kill that rocket launcher guy, I unspawned him. But that's not my fault. That is the game's fault for having enemies unspawn. That shouldn't work like that. Because in my innocence, I just headed back to get some arrows, and then I come back, and most of these enemies are gone. I seem to recall that there's at least 10 of these guys as well, but I only got like 5. I don't even know how many. But when you take them out with an OT, just like with the executioners, you have to guard to not take massive damage and or take a death. So now we're going to move forward. And this whole time I'm marching up here, I'm thinking to myself, are there any mech soldiers around the corner? Because I still had a little bit of lag, and it just faded away. So I don't know, maybe they themselves faded away. But over here, always take out the incendiary canisters nearby you. I'm leaving that one there because I have some really quick things to do here about killing this guy. Namely, I think I was able to get his elbow right there. There's a good elbow kill. And same scenario as in the first street we were on. If you press forward too far to take them out, then what's going to happen is you're going to have a rocket launcher guy setting up shop like right over here. So it's too difficult to avoid all the rocket launchers from right in front of you and right behind you. So if you can just stay on one side, then you'll never have any enemies spawn behind you. So jump stun in the air, ET, and you're going to have these guys just charging over to you. The ironic thing here is that there's always going to be a pair of enemies, and it's going to be evidenced right up here. I think I took that pair out with the incendiary canister. We're going to see 2 more guys dropping in right now. Just bam and bam. There's one. The weird thing about these guys is that even though you saw that guy shoot the rockets right there, oftentimes these guys do nothing but just stand there and not even shoot you. I mean, look at this. This happens every single time to me. But I think they were a little bit more aggressive than they normally are. How this guy is not getting hit is baffling. I don't know. But that is it. Did you see how only the first guy shot at me? Then the other guys, they just stood there like dopes. But anyway, don't get that chest that we passed. If you probably didn't see it because I sped past it. But I am going to keep the footage in of me getting the chest because I didn't do so last time. So hit the save point, and now we're going to go back and get the chest. What you want, obviously, is the fish, not the orb, the essence orbs, which give you 1,000. This will give us about 5,000 or 6,000 instead. And You can still head back and get those free arrows if you want to, and go to the store. So I have 64,000 in essence. That's shortly going to dwindle to about 20,000 as I buy items and supplies. So this next part can be done without getting hit. I do it successfully without getting hit. But the thing is, you've got to be very aggressively chaining attacks here on these guys. These are really these dogs, excuse me, are aggressors. These aren't the dogs that we saw in Chapter 2. These are the dogs that I don't know where else you find these. I think they're exclusive. They might be in some Tests of Valor, but they're just very aggressive. So that's a dynamic chest right there. It holds an herb of spiritual life. And now I'm going to switch to the Tonfa. And I'm not the best at using the Tonfa, but I said to myself, because I kept dying over here, I spent about an hour of my life over here, as I usually do. And normally I head inside the shop. And incidentally, I want to say one anecdote that always gets me laughing like hell. When you don't have enough money to buy something at Muramas's shop, he does that embarrassed little cough that I just find extremely hilarious, and it's just one of those beautiful touches in this game, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, maybe I'll insert it into the video track somehow, but what I was thinking was, I could do this part so easily with the Dragon Sword, but how am I going to get better with the Tonfa if I don't use them on parts where my comfortability level with them is low? Particularly with these guys here, who are very aggressive, who guard lock you very frequently, and I'm trying to do the Azuna drop on these guys, but I'm continually getting guard locked. So I think I do it here. It's XXXY, XXXY. I don't know why it's not the same. There we go, right there. I don't know why they can't keep it consistent. For instance, you can even do that Azuna drop with XXY if you're jumping in the air near the enemy. Same with the lunar. Ordinarily, it's X forward, X forward, XY, XY. But you can also press XY. Excuse me, I'm mixing up my X's and Y's. If you also want to do the lunar without the full combo, you jump in the air near the enemy and press XXY. And what I'm doing here is I'm being very aggressive on purpose because I want to try to not take damage, and if I take damage, that's just my own fault, so I'll take the punishment. But now I am going to go in here in the store and do a backflip up here. Believe me, there are much safer ways to do this. The obvious way is just to go into the store and charge attacks while all the runners run into the room, and then just take these guys out. So, did you see right there how I didn't fly swallow him? You've got to be ultra close to these guys sometimes. So that's the end of that. Make sure you save it though, because this next part's hard. And even though you don't see me save it, that's just the magic of editing. So here is getting iframes with the reverse wind. No need to slowly walk on the footprints. And then what I like to do is cast the Inferno right away, even though I don't think it did. See, that really irritates me when it does nothing. But I'm going to cast it again because there are two Devilway mushrooms, one on this course and then one on the course above the rightmost turret when you turn the corner here. And I was almost dead certain that there were those mech soldiers here, but they're not. Or am I completely wrong and need to consult my guide number 1 or 2? But I know there are soldiers here. Maybe it's only on Sigma 2. But what I'm doing here is I'm throwing daggers at the guys on the first floor. Well, I guess it would be the second floor, literally. The guys on the second floor, I'm too close to them to where I can't do arrow UTs. And right there I'm just trying to charge or drag the essence, excuse me. The guys on the third floor, I'm at such an angle where they can't they really don't aggro because I'm at such a steep angle to them. But you can even shoot like the ceiling panel and hit them. And there's another guy here. The guy in the second floor window, I think he's delimbed. No, he's not. He's not delimbed. But that's just my routine. Any guys remaining on the second floor, I throw daggers, and all the guys on the third floor, I charge arrow UTs. Now, did you see that guy just spawn right there? That won't happen every single time. I did it about 3 times in a row, and that was one of 3 times where he just spawned right out of the blue. So I'm going to drag my essence, and just make sure you've bought everything at the store, because from the previous store in the mall that we were just in fighting, there's not a store for a very, very long time. And I'm sorry I had to use sorry for having to use 2 intensifiers right in a row there. If you don't know what that is, it's just a word that intensifies another word. But I think that's the last guy. I'm going to drag the essence into me. And then these turrets are extremely easy, although my aim is pretty poor here. All you need to do to not take damage is to guard when they're firing, and then when they stop firing, you have time to do an arrow UT into them. 2 of those will destroy them. So you can get a charge off that piece of essence over there, or you can run around the corner and drag the essence to yourself if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out, and then I get my iframes over these mines. The mines are all over the place. They're pretty deadly, but if you just do the iframes move, you're okay. And then up here is that course I mentioned. And then we're going to be doing a really fun fight up ahead with, I believe, 30 IS ninjas. That sounds like something only a masochist would say, but trust me, it's fun. Okay, we're going to do this next room here. I have my dragon sword equipped, still level 2, and we have a very spacious and open room, which is going to be hard to work with here. We have 30 of the IS ninjas. At any given time, you're fighting 5 before the next guy drops in. In campaign 2, if you want to look that video up, what I did was similar to how I worked the first Test of Valor. You use the wind blades to sunder as many of these guys' limbs as possible, and any stragglers who are not bereft of their limbs, then you guillotine throw or counterattack, get their limbs severed to the point where you have all of a current set delimbed, and then what you do is you kill one, and then the newly issued IS Ninja will drop in, then you just kill him with the 4 other guys still crawling around on the ground or staggering around with only 1 arm. So, you know, you've just got to work the room, counterattack. See, I was doing the Zuna drop off that launcher parry right there, and I got knocked right out of it. Other times I'm going for the parry, and they decide to do that grab, which I can't do anything about, so I pay the price. But I do like to charge attacks off essence. That is good. You could potentially have 5 incendiary shurikens stuck into you, although that's pretty rare. It's normally 1 or 2, maybe 3. Just watch out, because the daggers bounce off the walls and will deal you damage. How they work, though, is they just overrun you here, and they're extremely aggressive. They're unrelenting, but I don't mind fighting these guys. In fact, they're fun to fight. Much funner than the fiends themselves. So, looks like I switched to my Falcon's Talons here to clean the rest of these guys up. And how do you work a room like this, really? It's kind of a rhetorical question I'm asking. myself, and well, not just anybody. I'm just thinking, kind of wool gathering to myself. It's just really fast paced, and you've got a counter. You've got to make sure you're throwing them into, you're using the guillotine to the best of your advantage. You make sure you're, if possible, if you don't think too many daggers are going to hit you while you're wind pathing off heads, that's also great. But just a lot of fast reflexes are required for that fight. But if you want to go heavy-handed with the Ninpo, go for it. I kind of refrain from using too much Ninpo in that battle. I think I just used one time. Okay, so we're coming up on Life of the Gods. It'll be number 4 of our new set, so we'll need 5 more after this to get the 9 we need to get our second health upgrade. And I still have 4 Lives of the Thousand Gods that I have not applied yet. So, coming off of here, we're going to need to open that door with a key. And I have my daggers equipped, if you notice that. But I'm going to, when I get back onto the balcony, I'm going to switch back to my shurikens, because it's exclusively bats until the next round of IS Ninjas, and there is no checkpoint. So if you die on the next encounter, then you have to go all the way back to the save point and do that huge battle over again. So this is the calm before the storm over here. I really enjoy it because it's creepy. There's no music. It's just dead silence except for the flapping of the bats and your own movements. Just imagine playing this for the first time and not knowing where anything is. I mean, obviously it would be on warrior mode if you've never played it before, if you're playing from a new game. But I'm going to switch back to the daggers, and the way I'm going to do this is to run back the way I came, because there's just whenever there's a lot of open space, that's just more room for daggers to go flying at the screen or at the walls, bouncing off everything. So I'm going to trigger these guys. Just go close to the train car. When you hear the music, fall back. And I had a lot of lag here. It's manifest how bad this lag is here. And even the Infernos is screwing up here for some reason. But it definitely, this whole situation is made worse by the lag. Doing that wall run up there aggravated me. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to be throwing daggers. See, I couldn't even see what the hell was going on right there. And right here, you see I have that dagger in me. What I'm trying to do, even though I don't think it worked, was to do the evasion to get my iframes, so that I would have iframes during the detonation of that incendiary shuriken. I don't think it worked out for me in that instance. Someone else may have hit me. I don't remember. It was really fast. But don't do OTs on these guys. Make sure you cut them up or do the Azuna drop to try to get yourself some health, like I got right there. And then the kind of strange thing is, unless you've got crawlers or guys bereft of one arm, the other guys just kind of hang out near the cave entrance. So you see how there's nobody here, and then this guy started charging me. I believe this is the last guy. So I was able to parry him, and now I'm going to Azuna drop him, try to get some essence, anything other than yellow essence, but of course it gave me that. So that's done. You're going to get yourself a checkpoint pretty soon. In the train car there are 3 items, one of which won't be inside because I already got it. Namely, it was a crystal skull. So the crystal skull is on the bar in this room over to the right. It's right over in that venue right there. Somewhere around there. I'm not sure. Here's the dignitary's ID card, which we'll need to enter the the save room. And then because I had damage on my person, even though I think I had... I don't know what my inventory is of... You see that box right there? Opening that box would have just given me some health orbs. And that's completely useless and the wrong way to play this game. Because we're going to go to the save point, fill our health up, and then get that item. Even if I only had 2 though, 2 of the... It's a grains of spiritual life, but even if I had 2, I'm going to speed this up just to show you. So it did look like I had 1 short, but since I had damage on my person, it would not have given me that grains unless I had filled up my health. The battle with the giant troll here, this brute fiend, is markedly more difficult than the first time we encountered this guy. Namely because when you take off X amount of health, about a fifth of his health, then what's he going to do is summon 2 of the mecha soldiers. So what you need to do is immediately prepare to do a charge, or a more safe bet is to throw the void. But you see there, the void's a little sensitive. It will kill these guys if you hit them directly, but if you don't, it's just going to put them into OT status, meaning that you need to throw another void. But I didn't remember this fight being so difficult. What I did before was I was doing lunar UTs, lunar 360 UTs, and I'm using my Tonfa here at level 3, and you're going to get another mecha soldier spawning. Just remember, if you need help about the strategy for dealing with the fiend, just consult the chapter 4 video. I need to speak about these guys. See how that didn't kill the guy, so I need to kill him with an OT. And then I believe he's the last guy, but I've had 4 guys spawn. I'm not sure how that works, but what always does happen though is when he's almost dead, then you're going to get rocket launcher guys around this entire perimeter. They're going to be coming up shortly. I think when I first noticed one passing by me, and that's why I'm switching to my talons. And to be honest, I thought there were only 2 of these guys, because I've always ever killed the brute fiend and then dispatched the final enemies, who are usually just 2 of these guys here that I'm killing. You see that right there, that miss? That was sheer nervousness, because I thought I was doing pretty well, but I messed up the simple XY button press to launch him into the Azuna drop. But to my surprise and to my new education, these guys, it doesn't look like these guys ever stop spawning. So see how they're in every corner of this perimeter here? Fortunately, you can get splash damage as well if the brute fiend is near you. But if he is near you, you've really got to beware, especially if you're in front of him, because he can do that blow attack and just do that whirlwind air attack that he does that just kills you outright. Yeah, a difficult fight. See, there's even more of these guys, and I thought to myself, this is going to be pretty futile if all I'm going to do is just kill these guys forever. So at some point I decided to, just cut my losses a little bit. I am gaining some Nimpo essence, which is great, because that stuff is costly. Okay, so this might be one of the last guys I killed, but see, splash damage. Look at that splash. I love splash damage. Anyway, there's some Nimpo. I think he's in OT status. There we go. We're going to put him down for the final time. That is a challenging fight, though, and I had fun playing it, to be honest. And you do have to put these guys down as well. So just put whoever's left to bed. Just be careful. I had not much life, and I got to beware of those rocket launchers. Definitely save your progress before. And now I'm going to head on down here. And I didn't go far enough around the corner. You're going to see that I'm charging my UT, but the enemies aren't running at me. So what I need to do is release my charge and then go a little bit further. And at the time that I'm speaking right now, I am on Zidonius, but I'm realizing that the scythe isn't working for me as well as it did before. And normally, like, the scythe is the only time I even, or excuse me, like, Zidonius is the main guy I use the scythe on. I don't use it too much, so I think what I'm going to do is go back a couple of I think I'm going to restart Chapter 7 and not upgrade it, because I don't think I'm going to need it. And that might seem a little frivolous to you, but that upgrade that I spent was $60,000, so what I'm going to do is just leave it at level 1 for the time being. Because on Zidonius, I have just as much of an easement on that guy with the DCTF, Dragon's Claw Tiger's Fang. So, anyway, so what's going to happen is that new progress that I do from Chapter 7 onward is going to be reflected in my campaign. You're just not going to see it because it's not going to be this footage here where I was in the hole $60,000. And I'm also going to try to do that level and waste fewer items and yeah, basically just waste fewer items and play better. So and just not miss out on any of the items whatsoever and conserve a lot. Because we are coming into definitely the harder part of the game starting in this chapter. The next chapter is not hard whatsoever, but 10 through 14 are very difficult. So you might be thinking to yourself that going back a couple of chapters is not something you would want to do. I really don't want to do it, but it is fun to test how well you can redo a section. And in the I am bound by that strong ethical oath that I took, so I'm not going to be spamming UTs. I'm just going to be outright trying to perform better. That's all I'm going to be doing. And not upgrading things that I don't need to, like the scythe. It's not important to me. Anyway, when you jump down here, you're just going to be assaulted by these guys here. These lackeys are going to be Zidonius' lackeys. There's 3 iterations of these. There's the red guys, there's the copper guys, and then there's these bluish silver ones who are tough. And Zidonius summons them like crazy. But you can minimize how many he spawns by being very aggressive on him and sticking close to him. But this is another one of those situations similar to before the King Kong boss fight, as it were, the Brute Fiend, where you have to go a long ways without a save point. So ignore the ghost fish in the distance and just stay in the water with this. And at some point, I think I stopped to try to collect essence or something, and they tore me up, and I was almost killed. But it was my own damn fault, because I should have just stayed down here. Yeah, right there. So remember, you don't have to aim whatsoever. These guys will go down in about 5 hits. And had some distortion right there. Apologize for that. That's actually the game. The game should fucking apologize for that. Ooh, that tail slash could have ended me. That's a grab. That is very dangerous. Okay. Okay, got some nympho. That's good. So for these fish, yeah, make sure you get that. And I also wanted to point out a chest. There's a chest right across from that chest that I got right there, the Lives of the Thousand Gods. It's a bat chest or it's $1,000. So make sure you get that. I missed it. But I think I went back to it before I actually took on King Kong. Now, when you do the ghost fish, you want to shoot the ones that are closest to you. I think I'm going to try to shoot 2 at once. Because if you shoot the ones that are closest to you, then the ones that are furthest from you take longer to get to you, and that gives you more time to build your charge here. There is a really tacky way of dealing with this situation if you want to. You can stay at the very top, up And also, by the way, anytime you want free daggers, you can backtrack all the way up to that little prison cell area. But you could stand at the base of that area and snipe those blood gauges. And if you run out of arrows, you can do charged ISs at them. It works pretty well, actually, and you'll get a lot of money. But anyway, this chest over here is going to have a herb of spiritual life. But since I'm maxed out on those items and I have damage on my person, it would be disadvantageous to get it. So I need to go get it now, but I forgot about it. And I think I get it off camera. But anyway, over here you're going to be assaulted from behind by 2 IS ninjas, so beware of them. And I had a really strange glitch occur over here with the IS ninja, just kind of hovering in the air, frozen. And then when I moved back, he fell down, and then I think he was dead. There he is. Son of a bitch. That is hilarious. But make sure you save it after that confrontation, because when you come down... Ooh, I didn't even save it. That's pretty bold of me. Anyway, do you see the open door over to the right? That is ordinarily closed. I opened it. There are free arrows out there if you want to get those. So don't waste your money at the store buying arrows and daggers, because they're yours for the taking over here. Ooh, a lot of lag too. I can see the lag. But I'm having a blast playing this game, even though I've played it so many times. It doesn't get old, I'm telling you. And there really is nothing like embarking on a campaign. Now, this footage here is going to be completely sped up. I have 2 individual clips of me trying to get to the top of the gear tower here. What I'm doing is I'm throwing daggers in the hopes of getting Nympho essence and blue essence. And I'm doing likewise, I'm going for the same goals by doing the Flying Swallow Azuna drop. Now, when you first get on that first gear, then you're going to spawn enemies, and you're going to spawn enemies right on this one. I'm sorry it's in fast forward. I tried to put it into speed that wasn't so slow or so fast that, you know, it would take too long or it was unwatchable being too fast. But this was a pretty good compromise. Pretty much it was like 8 minutes worth of footage altogether, so I put it into like 5 minutes. So it's a little bit faster than half speed. But there's just a lot of these guys, and the higher up you get, the more chance you'll have of falling down. And I fall down so many times, whether from not lining my platforming up, or like swinging here and having a guy throw a dagger at me from below. Right there, you want to fall back and charge. And just realize that, like any of these guys you throw off or hit off, they're going to be trying to throw daggers at you while you're platforming. So the best thing to really do is, after you spawn a set of enemies and you see anybody drop, just go after them. Or you can go to the save point, save your progress, and come back and allow yourself to be killed, then restart, then they'll unspawn. And you'll have that wave completed. So let's see what happens over here. I think I have some guys throwing stuff at me. Yep, see? So he knocked me off, and I had no choice. I have to take care of these guys. Okay, so we ended up way down here. Alright. So I'm going to do the flying bird flip up top. And I think there is one more IS Ninja out. Yep, see, you fell off right there. I'm sorry this is sped up, but it just takes way too long. This is not fun to do whatsoever. But I will say it's funner than having no enemies here, but it's more annoying. I'm just saying, ooh, there we go. If you're playing Sigma 2, like, there's no enemies, so it's boring. But on the other hand, this is irritating. So here's more irritation. I had another guy somewhere around, and I'm trying to locate his position. I'm trying to wind run to see if Ryu will jump in the guy's direction, and it actually did lead me to discover where this asshole was, who I think hits me off right over here. Yep, bastard. So he's actually right above me, and I'm going to take him out with an arrow UT. He's the only guy outstanding of that spawn, the latest spawn. So many a time these guys will just go in a loop. They go from point A to point B, and you just hold your reticle over either one of those points, and then they'll eventually get right into your line of sight. So now we can do our swinging on this little Ferris wheel device. Fucking fell again. I even get mad watching it in retrospect, even though it's in fast forward. So, okay, so there is going to be one more spawn of enemies, and it's probably the most challenging because you're the highest up as you possibly can be, and I just don't like wasting Nimpo over here, but you might have to. So if you get a parry, that's good, because then you can just do OTs. OTs are the safest. It's just that you don't want to. I mean, it would be okay to throw guys off this platform, I guess, because there's not much they can do if they're so far below you right now. But I think I fall down off of here. No? Okay, I made it. But that is a challenging section. But to minimize that challenge, make sure you just use your Nimpo, use daggers, and run on home over here to the save point. And then we're going to be facing Zidonius, the first iteration of him. Okay, we're on the Zidonius boss fight. Watch out for that stomp right there that he does in the air. If you avoid it, you have to have the camera lined up in your head, if not on the screen. So it's debatable here whether you want the fixed camera or the free roaming camera. I just like the fixed camera. When he jumps down like that, you have to be evading away from him. So it's hard, like on the spot, to know which way that is. But if you have the fixed camera on, I believe that it's a little easier to tell, because you'll always be centered. You'll always have the camera centered. Anyway, it's 4 Y attacks, and then you can get by with doing more, but it's just kind of up to you. If he's going to be more aggressive, especially with that flame attack, he's going to follow it up with this grab or the kick, which is also a grab. I have this footage in real time, and then the next fight will also be in like the Alexei fight. I'm going to have it in slow motion because it's too quick to analyze here. I also have the Gatling spear gun on, just in preparation for the next chapter, so I don't have to keep switching to it. You might want to do that if you were me. So here's his lackeys. Nimpo canceling is very effective here too. So if you want to go in for your 4 strikes and then Nimpo cancel, if you think he's going to grab you, that's very helpful. Or just whenever you need immediate iframes. I also follow up the Y combo with the 360 Y attack for additional iframes. And then usually when I come out of that move, though, I Nimpo cancel, because the iframes don't continue to you don't continue to have them. And when you're doing the move, you have them, but afterwards you don't have any more iframes. So that's why I Nimpo cancel. So he's got the fireball attacks. You just need to evade the left or right. See, that's exactly what I was talking about. 4 Ys, 360 Y, then Nimpo cancel. That's a really safe combo. And see right there, you just have to like if he's at 360, you need to be moving at 180 when you avoid like that. Okay, so here's the fight, and like I said, in slow motion. I did use a Talisman of Rebirth on this. I didn't want to, but I also didn't want to use any more healing items. I don't have much health. I could have quite a lot more health. I have 4 or 5 more lives of the Thousand Gods. Just watch out when he moves his hand like he's. I'll just analyze it here when he does it. That is the casting animation that he does. That animation, and then when he throws his hand forward like he's digging under the ground, that is when he's doing the fire geyser. So just like with the mages, don't be anywhere, just move away quickly, because it's going to be attacking wherever you last were. So the lackeys are always going to be an issue. If you stay close to him, he's not going to cast them, but in melee range is very dangerous. So I think this is where I use the Talisman of Rebirth. It's a tough fight. I will grant that. It's a pretty tough fight, and just wait till the next fight. It's even more difficult. But we'll have the Blade of the Archfiend at that point, so it'll be even stronger. Well, our weapon. And the last guide I did, I was using the scythe on this guy. There's the kick. That's the kick. Right there. That's a grab. So stay out of that. Bam, bam. Every time he hits you, it's going to have the guard breaking animation, so you can't continually guard. You're going to have to guard, evade, guard, evade. So here I am getting thrown like a complete bitch. And these are all instant death on Sigma too. Anyway, so there's his combo. He comboed out right there. I think I do the 360Y attack here. No, I moved out of the way. So his fireball combo, I think it's 3 or 4 fireballs that are going to come at you. Let's see. 1, 2, maybe it's 2 or 3. Sorry about that. It's either 2 or 3. So he tricks you a little bit. And there's his flaming forward attack that he does. It's not the fire geyser, or maybe it is. There's his casting animation. You could jump with the XY. With the scythe attack if you want to as well. But bottom line, just do the 4 Y attacks followed by the 360Y, and then Nimpo cancel, or keep brawling with him. But just be very wary of, and always be leery of him trying to grab you. So looks like he threw 4 fireballs that time, and this right there. That is when I hate the lackeys like nothing else, when my UT misses. Okay, so he threw about 4 fireballs there. I don't know the count of it, but just keep your health up all the time. And just don't even mess around with the lackeys. I mean, if you can quickly Azuna drop one, that's great. I think he's going to fly at me. Over here, probably. No, he's going to do the fireballs in the air. And I kind of do a waiting game at this point. Just be consistent with evading and see what he's going to do. He usually will keep summoning enemies like crazy, and you might run out of magic, so that's when you have to just close in the distance and start meleeing with him. And always in the back of your head, think to yourself, is he going to be jumping at me? And then which angle do I need to jump at? Right now it would be diagonal down, like at the 5 o'clock position if you were going to jump at me at that point. Or maybe 6, like you might have to judge it. Probably 6 o'clock, I would say, actually, because if you're centered 6 o'clock. Yeah, I think that was 6 o'clock right there on the analog stick. So there we go. Get iframes, but I have to Nimpo cancel because he's gonna the iframes, they stop at some point. So he's almost dead here. 4 more strikes will kill him. Got juggled a little bit. Almost got juggled. He's going to go up for either to spawn or to stomp. He's going to stomp. I appropriately evaded and then go in for my final 4 strikes. And I will see you in the jungle.